First of all, welcome to Streetlit Audiobooks. Make sure to like, subscribe, and let me know where you from. Got another banger for you, Diamonds in the Streets.
Hope they don't betray me. Diamonds in the streets, so I praise the light. Hope they don't betray me. Fighting all these demons on a daily. Late at night, I still can't sleep. Thinking love might save me. But the streets got a hold too deep. And they change it.
I came into this world screaming on a humid August night in Baton Rouge, 1998, right when the rain was trying to wash the sins off the Magnolia Projects. Mama said the thunder clapped so hard the hospital lights flickered, like even God was announcing my arrival. They named me Diamond, 'cause I was supposed to be forever, unbreakable, shining, no matter how dark the dirt around me got. Daddy was Big Reese then, moving weight so smooth the feds couldn't even smell him. Projects bowed when his black-on-black Escalade slid through with them 26-inch rims sparkling like stars somebody stole from heaven. Mama stayed laced in Chanel, nails done, edges laid, even while carrying me. She taught me early, pretty ain't enough, baby. Pretty get you noticed, smart get you paid, cold get you respected. By the time I was 14, I knew the game better than most niggas twice my age. Learned it watching Daddy school his lieutenants in the back room of our 3-bedroom, while I pretended to sleep on the butter-soft leather couch. Loyalty ain't free, he'd say, voice low and gravelly from years of Newports and Hennessy. You give it, you demand it, or you end up in a box or a cage. And even then, make sure they remember your name. I took that shit to heart like scripture. By 16, I had my own little crew of project girls, Keisha, Latoya, and my ride-or-die cousin Bree, running errands. We boosted fits from Dillard's, moved small packs of that loud, collected info on who was slipping. Boys wanted me 'cause my ass sat high like it had its own zip code. My skin glowed like fresh cocoa butter under streetlights, and my eyes cut deeper than any blade in the kitchen drawer. But I wasn't giving it away. Pussy was power, and I kept mine on a throne with a moat full of alligators. That summer of 2016, everything shifted. Hurricane season had the city on edge, air thick like it was holding its breath. The real storm wasn't coming from the Gulf. It was the new connect from Houston trying to muscle in on Daddy's territory. Word on the block was they called him Kane. Tall, dark, dreads to his waist. Tattoos telling war stories I wanted to read in Braille with my fingertips. He moved like the block already belonged to him. I first saw him from the passenger seat of Bree's tricked-out Impala, candy apple red with white walls, windows down, Megan Thee Stallion bumping so hard the bass made my chest vibrate. "There he go," Bree said, nodding toward the corner store parking lot. Kane stood posted up like a king. Black tee stretched across muscles that didn't come from no prison yard push-ups alone. 2 of his people flanked him, but he didn't need them. His presence was the weapon. Our eyes locked across the lot. Time slowed the way it do in movies, but this wasn't no romance. This was chess, with real blood on the board. I smiled, sweet, flipped my bundles over my shoulder and let my glossed lips part just enough. This nigga finna be my ticket, or my downfall, I thought. Either way, I was gone ride. We pulled off before he could approach. Smart move. Never let them smell desperation. That night, back at the crib, Daddy was in rare form. Living room smelled like weed, fried chicken, and money. Crisp hundreds rubber-banded on the coffee table like it was nothing. Mama was in the kitchen stirring red beans and rice, humming some old Anita Baker joint. I walked in wearing a fresh white Nike Tech with the matching shorts that hugged every curve God gave me. White forces so clean they squeaked. "Daddy, you heard about them Houston boys?" I asked, grabbing a wing off the plate. Big Reese looked up from his phone, eyes sharp even at 50. Gray in his beard now, but the muscle still sat heavy on his frame. "I hear everything, Diamond. Question is, what you hearing? They say Kane got pure work. Better than what we getting from them Florida boys." And he moving it like he got the whole city on speed dial. Daddy leaned back, gold chain catching the light. Kane. Yeah. Young, hungry, and stupid enough to think he can play in my sandbox without paying rent. But smart money don't move reckless. We watch first. Mama sucked her teeth from the kitchen. Y'all need to leave that street mess alone. Diamond got college applications due. She too pretty to end up like them other fast girls. I laughed low. College? Mama, please. Them degrees don't pay like this. I fanned a stack Daddy had just tossed me for errands. $5 grand. Easy. I'm built for this. Daddy's eyes softened on me. The only softness he showed anybody. You built different, baby girl. But different don't mean invincible. Watch Kane. Study him. If he worth partnering, we partner on our terms. If not, he left the rest unsaid. We all knew what it meant. Later that night, I couldn't sleep. Lay in my queen bed with the silk sheets, a sea blasting, staring at the glow-in-the-dark stars I stuck on the ceiling when I was 10. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Unknown. Saw you today. You move like you already run shit. I stared at the text for a full minute. Heart didn't race. Diamond don't do nervous. I typed back, slow. Me. Who this? Unknown. The one you've been watching. Kane. Let's talk business. Tomorrow. Neutral ground. City Park by the lake. 3 p.m. Come alone or don't come. I smiled in the dark. Bold. I liked bold, but trust? That was earned with blood and time. I didn't reply. Let him wait. Next day, the sun beat down like it had a personal grudge. I dressed strategic. Tight, high-waisted jeans that made my waist look snatched. Cropped black hoodie with the zipper low enough to tease. Bundles in a high ponytail swinging like a weapon. Gold hoops. Light makeup. Vaseline shine on my lips. Not trying too hard, but impossible to ignore. Bree dropped me 2 blocks away. Text me every 30 minutes or I'm rolling up shooting, she said. City Park was neutral. Families picnicking, ducks on the water, cops too lazy to really patrol. Kane was already there, sitting on a bench like he owned the scenery. Black Amiri jeans, fresh white tee, dreads pulled back, Cuban link heavy on his neck. He smelled like creed and confidence when I got close. Diamond, he said, voice deep, smooth like dark liquor. Stood up. Damn, he was tall. 6'4" easy. You prettier up close. Save the game, I said, sitting without waiting for invitation. You wanted business. Talk, he chuckled, sat back down. Straight like that? Aight. Your pop's got the Baton Rouge lock on mid-grade. I got access to that fentanyl-free pure from the border. We link, we flood the whole South. Split 60-40 my way, 'cause I'm bringing the product. 40 to 60, mine, I countered, crossing my legs. This daddy's city. You, the visitor. His eyes traveled slow down my body, not disrespectful, but appreciative. You speaking for Big Reese now. I speak for me. And what's mine? We went back and forth like that for 20 minutes. Numbers, routes, loyalty tests. He was sharp. Knew the feds were watching both crews. Knew about the rivalry with the Uptown boys who'd been trying to clip Daddy for years. By the end, we had a tentative handshake. Not a deal yet. A test run. As I stood to leave, he grabbed my wrist. Gentle, but firm. You dangerous, Diamond. I see it in you. The way you think 3 moves ahead. But dangerous girls get lonely at the top. I pulled away, smooth. Lonely is a choice. And I ain't choosing you yet. Walking away, I felt his eyes on me the whole time. Heat, danger, opportunity. That evening, shit hit the fan. I got home to yellow tape and blue lights. Not our house, thank God. But the trap on Plank Road, one of Daddy's spots. 2 bodies on the ground under sheets. Word was Uptown boys sent a message. One of the dead was Lil Mike, Daddy's youngest lieutenant. 19 years old. I grew up with him. Daddy was in the backyard when I pulled up, pacing like a lion in a cage. Mama was crying quiet on the porch steps. I walked straight to him. "They testing you," I said low. "Kane just offered product. We move on this. We hit back twice as hard." He looked at me, eyes red. "You ready for what come with that, Diamond? This ain't boosting in small packs no more. This war." I thought about Kane's touch on my wrist. Thought about Lil Mike under that sheet. Thought about the throne I was born to sit on. I was born ready, Daddy. That night, we called a meeting. Lieutenants packed the living room. I sat right beside Daddy like I belonged there. Bree and my girls posted outside watching. Kane texted again. "Kane. Heard what happened. My condolences. Offer still stand. Let's make them regret it." I didn't reply right away. Instead, I looked around the room at grown men waiting on my father's word, and some of them glancing at me different now. Respect mixed with hunger. This was the beginning. Not of a partnership, not of love, of something bigger, of me becoming the coldest winter this city ever felt. The next 3 days blurred. Funerals, planning, late-night drives counting money and guns. I met Kane again, this time at a low-key hookah lounge off Highland. Dim lights, hookah smoke thick, R&B bumping low. He bought out the VIP section. We talked real this time, not just product. He told me how he came up in Houston after his mama OD'd, how he built his name with patience and precision. I told him pieces of me. Enough to seem open, not enough to be weak. When his hand brushed mine on the table, electricity shot up my arm. I didn't pull away. "You ever think about getting out?" he asked, eyes locked on mine. "Out where? This all I know. And I'm good at it." "You could be good at anything, Diamond. That's the scary part." We left together that night. Not to fuck, though the tension was thick enough to cut. We rode in his blacked-out Range, windows up, city lights streaking past. He dropped me home at 4 a.m. Before I got out, he leaned over. "Test run next week. My people meet yours on I-10. If it goes smooth, we lock in. If not," he shrugged. I kissed his cheek, slow, letting my lips linger. "It'll go smooth. But remember, I don't ride for nobody who can't keep up." Inside the house, Daddy was waiting in the dark living room, 45 on the table. "You with that nigga now?" "Business, Daddy. Pure business." He stared at me long. "Don't let pretty words and good dick cloud your vision, baby girl. Everybody got an angle. Even you." I went to my room, smiling in the dark. He was right. I had an angle, too. And the game was just starting to heat up. Chapter 2. Test Run in the Shadows. The test run was set for Wednesday night on a lonely stretch of I-10 between Baton Rouge and Houston. Daddy wanted it clean, no extras, but I smelled blood in the air before we even loaded the first brick. I hadn't slept right since Lil Mike's funeral. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that white sheet turning red under the streetlights. Kane's texts kept coming, smooth, strategic, laced with that low-key hunger that made my stomach tighten in ways I didn't like admitting. "Kane, everything lined up on my end. Your people ready?" "Me. We born ready. Don't play with my daddy's money." "Kane, never that. See you on the other side, Queen." "Queen?" He'd started calling me that after the hookah lounge. I let him because it sounded right coming from his mouth, but I knew better than to believe pretty words. In this game, crowns get snatched faster than they get placed. I dressed for war that night. Black Nike Tech sweatsuit, hair pulled into a tight bun under a fitted cap. Small .380 tucked in my waistband. Ankle monitor disguised as a gold chain just in case. Mama was in the kitchen praying over me like I was going off to college instead of moving 10 kilos of pure. She grabbed my face with both hands, eyes wet. "Diamond, you listen to your daddy. Don't let that Houston boy turn your head. You smarter than all of them. I know, Mama. This just business." I kissed her forehead and walked out before she could see the lie in my eyes. Bree picked me up in the Impala, LaToya, and Keisha in the back seat, looking nervous but loyal. We met Daddy's main lieutenant, Rico, at the Plank Road Trap. 2 Suburbans, tinted heavy, loaded light so we could move fast if shit popped off. Rico was 32, built like a linebacker, been with Daddy since before I was born. He looked at me sideways when I slid in the passenger seat. Boss said you observing tonight, not running point. I smiled sweet. Observing with my eyes and my ears. And if I see something you don't, I speak on it. Daddy's orders. He sucked his teeth but didn't argue. Smart man. The drive down I-10 was quiet except for the low bass of Boozy. Rain started spitting around midnight, turning the highway into black glass. My phone buzzed. Kane. We at the exit. 2 black Tahoes. Code word, Magnolia. Stay calm, Queen. We pulled into the abandoned truck stop exactly at 1:17 a.m. Their vehicles were already there, lights off. Kane stepped out first, dreads loose under a hoodie, Amiri jeans. That same Cuban link catching what little light there was. Our eyes met across the wet asphalt, and something electric passed between us. Not love, recognition. 2 predators sizing each other up. His people moved efficient, unloading duffels, testing product right there on the hood with a scale and a test kit. Rico's crew did the same. I stayed back, watching every hand movement, every twitch. One of Kane's dudes, light-skinned, nervous eyes, kept glancing toward the tree line. My stomach flipped. Rico, I said low. Something off with the tall one on the left. Before he could respond, headlights flared from the far end of the lot. 3 more vehicles. Uptown boys. They came out shooting. Gunfire ripped the night open. I dropped behind our Suburban, heart slamming, but mind ice cold. Bree was already returning fire from the Impala. I pulled my .380 and squeezed off 3 shots toward the flashes, not wild, just enough to make them duck. Kane moved like lightning, grabbing me by the waist and pulling me behind his Tahoe. Stay down, he barked, voice steady. I ain't no damsel, I snapped, but I stayed low while his people lit the lot up. The nervous dude from Kane's crew took 2 to the chest and dropped. Chaos, screaming, tires spinning on wet pavement. It was over in 90 seconds. 2 uptown bodies on the ground, one of ours winged in the arm. The product was safe, but the message was clear. Somebody had snitched. Kane's eyes were wild when he looked at me. You good? I nodded, adrenaline making my hands shake just a little. He pulled me into him for half a second, hard chest, smell of gun smoke and creed, and then let go, professional. But I felt it. That pull getting stronger. We split the load fast and got ghost. Back in Baton Rouge by 4:30 a.m., Daddy was waiting at the safe house on Scenic Highway. When we walked in with the duffels, his face stayed stone until he saw me. You hit? He asked. No, Daddy. He pulled me into a hug. Rare, tight, smelling like cigars and Old Spice. Then he looked at Rico. How they knew? Rico glanced at me. Diamond called the play before it popped. Might have saved us. Daddy nodded slow, pride and worry fighting in his eyes. Good. But this means we got a leak. Find it. That morning, I couldn't sleep. I drove out to City Park alone, same bench where Kane first approached me. Sun was coming up over the lake, turning the water gold. My phone rang. Kane, you sleep? He asked, voice rough like he hadn't closed his eyes either. Nah, you? Thinking about how you handled that. Most girls would have froze. You moved like you've been in shootouts since kindergarten. I basically have. I laughed a little, but it wasn't funny. We lost product time, uptown testing us, and somebody talking. Agreed. My end clean. So it's yours or the connect in between. He paused. I want to see you. Not business. Just talk. My body said yes before my mind caught up. Tonight, my spot. Come alone. I gave him the address to the little studio apartment I kept off Essen Lane. Daddy didn't know about it. My private throne. By 9 p.m., I had it smelling like vanilla candles and weed. I wore something dangerous. Red silk robe over black lace lingerie, hair down in fresh bundles, barefoot with toes painted blood red. When Kane knocked, I opened the door slow. He stepped in, eyes drinking me in. Damn, Diamond. Shut up and sit down. We talked for hours. Real talk. He told me about watching his mama chase the dragon until it took her, how he raised his little sister until she got locked up on a bad lick. I told him about growing up watching Daddy build an empire while Mama prayed it wouldn't crumble. How I wanted more than just pretty and loyal. I wanted power that couldn't be taken. Somewhere between the second bottle of Hennessy and the third blunt, his hand landed on my thigh. I didn't move it. Instead, I climbed in his lap, robe slipping off one shoulder. "You sure?" he asked, voice thick. "I don't do nothing I ain't sure about." The sex was slow at first, then savage, like we were fighting and loving at the same time. His hands knew exactly where to go. His mouth said my name like a prayer and a curse. I rode him like the queen he called me, taking what I wanted, giving just enough to keep him addicted. When we finished, sweaty and breathing hard, he traced the small scar on my hip from a childhood accident. "You different, Diamond. I knew it the first time I saw you. Don't get attached," I whispered, even as my body melted into his. Attachment gets you killed in this life. But lying there in the dark with his arm around me, I felt something dangerous. Comfort. I pushed it down. Comfort was a luxury I couldn't afford. Next morning, the leak showed itself. Daddy called an emergency meeting at the crib, all lieutenants plus me and Bree. Mama made food like it was Sunday dinner, but tension was thick enough to choke on. Rico dropped the bomb. Phone records show calls from the Plank Road trap to an uptown number night before the ambush. Only 3 people had access to that phone. Me, Mike, rest in peace, and Keisha. My heart dropped. Keisha, one of my girls since we were 12. The one who braided my hair and cried with me when my first boyfriend got killed. I didn't want to believe it. Daddy looked at me. "Your crew. Your responsibility." I nodded, ice in my veins. "I'll handle it." That afternoon, I lured Keisha to the studio under the guise of counting money. Bree and Latoya came too. When Keisha walked in smiling, carrying Chick-fil-A bags like old times, I locked the door. The smile died quick when she saw the gun on the table. "Diamond? What is this? You tell me." My voice was calm. Too calm. "Uptown knew the exact time and spot. Only you had that phone after Mike died." She started crying. "They threatened my little brother. Said they'd kill him if I didn't." I slapped her so hard, her head snapped back. "You chose them over us. Over me?" Bree held her while Latoya searched her phone. Texts confirmed everything. Keisha had been feeding them crumbs for weeks, thinking she could play both sides. I sat across from her, legs crossed. "I loved you like a sister, but love don't excuse betrayal." She begged. Promised it was just once. Offered to wear a wire and flip it back on Uptown. For a second, I almost considered it. Strategic move. But Daddy's words echoed. Loyalty ain't free. I made the call myself. 1 shot to the head while she cried. Clean. No screaming. Bree and Latoya helped wrap her, and we drove out to the river that night. Weighted her down with cinder blocks. The water took her quiet. Back at the studio, I showered for an hour, trying to wash the feeling off. Kane texted, "Kane. Thinking about last night. When can I see you again?" I stared at the screen, water still dripping from my hair. The girl who just killed her childhood friend wasn't the same one who rode him hours earlier. But I answered anyway. "Me. Soon. We got work to do first. Uptown gotta pay." That week, we planned the counter-strike. Daddy gave me more responsibility. Running point on the hit team. Kane linked his shooters with ours. The night we moved on their main trap in Scotlandville, I was in the passenger seat of the lead car, heart steady, mind sharp. We hit them hard. Guns, fire, message written in bullets. 3 of theirs gone. Their product burned. When the news hit the streets the next morning, the whole city felt the shift. Big Reese's daughter wasn't just watching anymore. She was becoming the storm. But as I lay in bed that night, Kane's arms around me again in my secret spot, I felt the cracks forming. The leak was handled, but bigger snakes were still in the grass. Federal task force had been sniffing around for months. My feelings for Kane were growing dangerous, and Mama had started looking at me different, like she saw the devil in my eyes. I was winning. But in this game, winning always costs more than you want to pay. Chapter 3. Cracks in the Crown. The counterstrike made the whole city bow different. Overnight, Big Reese's crew wasn't just respected. We were feared on a new level. My name started ringing in ways it never had before. Not as Big Reese's daughter, as Diamond, the one who handled Keisha quiet, the one who rode out on the Scotlandville hit like she had ice in her veins. Streets talk fast. And by the end of the week, niggas I used to boost clothes with were nodding at me with that mix of lust and caution. I walked into the Magnolia Projects corner store, and the whole line parted like Moses and the Red Sea. Felt good. Too good. But good is dangerous. Good makes you soft. Kane had been in Baton Rouge full-time now, renting a low-key spot off Airline Highway. Nothing flashy, just enough security and enough space for us to disappear. After the hit, he pulled up on me at the studio at 2 a.m., still smelling like gunpowder and victory. I opened the door in nothing but a silk slip, and he didn't even speak. Just lifted me up, kicked the door shut, and carried me to the bed like I weighed nothing. That night, the sex wasn't savage. It was something worse, intimate. Slow strokes while he looked me dead in my eyes, whispering shit that scared me more than any gunshot. "You changing the game, Queen?" he said against my neck, dreads brushing my skin. But who changing you? I rode him harder to shut him up, nails digging into his shoulders, trying to turn it back into power. But when we finished, I couldn't roll away like usual. I let him hold me. His heartbeat under my cheek felt steady. Dangerous, steady. "I killed my best friend," I whispered into the dark. First time I said it out loud. Kane's arm tightened around me. "She chose wrong. You chose right." That's the difference between queens and peasants. His words should have comforted me. Instead, they sat heavy. Because part of me wondered if I was becoming the same monster Daddy warned me about. The one that eats its own. Morning came with bad news wrapped in sunshine. Mama was in my childhood bedroom when I snuck back to the crib to change. She had my blood-stained black tech sweatsuit from the night of the ambush laid out on the bed like evidence. Her eyes were red from crying or praying. I couldn't tell which. "Baby, what you doing?" she asked, voice trembling but strong. "This life took your daddy's youth. Now it's taking my daughter." I zipped up my fresh white Amiri jeans, not looking at her. "Mama, I'm not taking nothing. I'm building. We got more money than we ever dreamed. House paid off. You driving that new Benz. What's the problem?" "The problem is I'm burying children I helped raise. Keisha's mama called me yesterday, said her daughter missing, looked me in my face and asked if I knew anything." Mama stepped closer, grabbed my chin so I had to meet her eyes. "You got blood on your hands now, Diamond. Real blood. God, don't forget that." I pulled away, gentle. God wasn't in that truck stop when they came shooting. God wasn't protecting Lil Mike. I am. She slapped me, hard. First time in years. My cheek burned, but I didn't flinch. "You sound just like your daddy," she said, tears falling now. And look where that got him. High blood pressure, bad back, and federal eyes on his every move. "You think Kane different? That boy got his own ghosts. They all do." I left without hugging her. Couldn't. Because deep down, I knew she was right about one thing. Kane had layers I hadn't peeled back yet. That afternoon, Daddy called a sit-down at the new safe house in Zachary. Big colonial-style spot with gates and cameras. Rico, the remaining lieutenants, Bree, and me. Kane was invited as partner. He showed up in a black button-down, looking too calm for the tension in the room. Daddy laid it out. Fed's been watching heavier since the Scotlandville fire. DEA task force out of New Orleans. We gotta go low for a minute. No big moves. Let the heat die. I spoke up before anyone else. Low gets us broke, Daddy. Uptown still breathing. Kane got a connect in Atlanta who can move the rest of the product quiet. We flip it, stack, then expand. All eyes turned to me. Kane gave me a small nod. Support, but not takeover. Rico sucked his teeth. Little girl got big opinions now. Little girl handled Keisha when you didn't even smell the snake, I shot back, voice ice. Call me little again. And watch what happened, Daddy raised his hand. Silence. Diamond right about the heat, but she wrong about rushing. We wait 2 weeks. Kane, you cool with that? Kane leaned back, gold chain shining. I follow your lead on your turf, Big Reese. But Diamond got vision. She sees the long game. The way he said my name made the room feel smaller. Rico noticed. Jealousy flashed in his eyes quick before he hit it. That was a note I filed away. Rico might be next problem. After the meeting, Kane and I slipped off to my studio. We smoked a blunt on the balcony, city lights twinkling below like diamonds I wanted to own. You stood up in there, he said, passing the wood. Proud of you. Don't get soft on me, I teased, but my voice was serious. My mama thinks you dangerous for me. I am. He turned me to face him, hands on my waist. But you dangerous for me too. I ain't never let a woman get this close. Feel like I'm slipping. I kissed him deep, tasting weed and truth. We made love right there against the railing. Slow, risky, city watching, but not seeing. When he came inside me, I felt the crack widen. I was falling, and I hated how good it felt. 2 weeks of laying low turned into torture. Money still flowed, but slower. Mama barely spoke to me. Daddy watched me closer, like he saw his younger self in my hunger. Bree and LaToya stayed loyal, but I caught them whispering when they thought I wasn't looking. The streets were quiet. Too quiet. Then the feds made their move. It was a regular Tuesday. I was at the mall with Bree, picking up new bundles and a couple designer bags to celebrate nothing. My phone rang. Unknown number. I answered in the food court. Diamond Santiaga. Female voice. Official. Who this? Special Agent Ramirez. DEA. We need to talk. Off record. Your father's looking at serious time. You got information that could help him or bury him deeper. Meet me at the coffee call on Perkins tomorrow, 10 a.m. Come alone. Click. My blood turned cold. I told Bree nothing. Dropped her off and went straight to Kane's spot. He was in the middle of counting money when I burst in. One look at my face, and he cleared the room. Feds reached out, I said, pacing. They want me to flip. Kane's jaw tightened. They always do. Question is, you considering it? I stopped, looked at him. Really looked. This man had become my peace and my war at the same time. I'd rather die than snitch. But they got something on Daddy. On us. He pulled me into his chest. Then we get ahead of it. I got a lawyer in Houston. Best money can buy. We move smarter. And Diamond, he lifted my chin. If it comes down to me or your family, I already know where you stand. I accept that. That night, we didn't have sex. We planned. Roots, new traps, fake companies to clean money. He showed me the real him. Scars from Houston wars, the little sister he still sent money to in prison. The fear that one day the game would take him like it took his mama. I cried for the first time in years. Real tears. He kissed them away. I love you, he whispered. I didn't say it back. Couldn't. Love was the ultimate weakness, but I felt it. Heavy like a crown made of thorns. The coffee call meeting never happened the way they wanted. I sent Rico instead, wired up with a recorder we controlled. He played dumb, fed them fake crumbs, and got them talking about their evidence. Turns out they had phone taps, but nothing solid on the recent hits. Keisha's body being missing helped. They were fishing. Daddy was proud when I showed him the recording. You thinking like a boss now, baby girl? But pride turned to pain 2 days later. Mama had a stroke. Not a big one, but enough to put her in the hospital with the right side of her face drooping and fear in her eyes. I sat by her bed holding her hand, the beeping machines louder than any gunshot. "I'm sorry," I whispered. "I'll slow down. I promise." She squeezed my fingers weak. "Don't promise. Just live, Diamond. Really live. Not this." Kane waited in the hallway the whole time. When I came out crying, he held me right there in front of nurses and everything. No hiding. That's when Rico made his play. Later that night at the safe house, Daddy called another meeting. Rico stepped up with paperwork. Bank records showing money moved through my studio account. Small amounts, but enough to look suspicious. "Diamond been running side shit with Kane," Rico said, voice slick. "Maybe even talking to feds herself." How else they knew so much? The room went dead silent. Kane stepped forward, but I put my hand on his chest. I looked Rico dead in his eyes. "You been mad since I called out the snake you missed. Now you trying to paint me as disloyal? Bad move." Daddy watched us both like a judge. "Proof?" Rico smiled. "More coming. But ask her why she got a secret spot nobody knew about till now." I felt the trap closing. Not from feds. From inside the house. My own crew. The same loyalty I preached was cracking because I was becoming stronger than them. I smiled, slow, cold. The same smile I gave Keisha before the end. "Rico, you got 1 week to bring real proof, or I'm gone. Bring the same energy I brought to Keisha. And this time, I won't make it quick." The meeting broke tense. Kane rode with me back to the studio, silent until we got inside. "You trust your daddy to handle him?" he asked. "I trust me." We made love that night like it might be the last time. Urgent. Desperate. I finally said it. "I love you too." But even as the words left my mouth, I felt the crown slipping. Mama in the hospital, Rico plotting, feds circling, Daddy testing my every move. I was becoming the coldest. But winter don't last forever. Eventually, everything thaws. Or burns. And I had a feeling the fire was coming for me next. Chapter 4. Blood on the Throne. Mama's hospital room smelled like antiseptic and regret. Beeping machines kept time like a slow funeral march. I sat in the plastic chair beside her bed for 3 straight days, bundles tied back, no makeup, just sweats and the weight of everything I'd done. Her face was still half frozen from the stroke, but her eyes, those sharp, praying eyes, followed me every time I moved. She couldn't talk much yet, but she didn't need words. The disappointment radiated off her like heat off summer asphalt. Kane brought food every evening, oxtails from that spot on plank, fresh fruit, whatever the nurses would allow. He sat with me, quiet, his big hand covering mine. The nurses side-eyed us, this hood king and his project queen holding vigil like regular people. But we weren't regular. Never had been. "You don't have to stay," I told him on the 3rd night, voice hoarse from no sleep. "This ain't your fight." He leaned forward, dreads falling across his forehead. "Everything yours is mine now, Diamond. That's what love mean when I say it." He kissed my knuckles, slow. "Your mom's gon' pull through. Strong blood in y'all." I wanted to believe him. But Mama had whispered something the night before when the nurse stepped out. "Leave, while you still can." 4 words. They cut deeper than any bullet. Daddy came by once, stood in the doorway like a shadow, gold chain tucked under his shirt like he was trying to look civilian. He nodded at Kane, respect, but tension, then pulled me into the hallway. "Rico, bringing proof tomorrow," he said low. Meeting at the Zachary spot. You come correct. Daddy, he lying. You know me. I know the game, he replied, eyes hard but tired. And the game don't care about blood. Handle your business or I handle it for you. He walked off without hugging me. That hurt worse than Mama's silence. The next morning, I left the hospital feeling raw. Bree picked me up, LaToya in the back, silent. We rode to my studio so I could shower and armor up. White Chanel pantsuit I'd boosted last year. Red bottoms, hair fresh, makeup flawless but war-ready. In the mirror, I looked like money and murder. Inside, I felt like a little girl who just wanted her mama to stop looking at her like a stranger. Kane was already at the safe house when we pulled up. He pulled me aside before we went in, hands on my waist. Whatever happens in there, I got you. But don't lose your head. Rico playing chess. We play better. Inside, the living room felt like a courtroom. Daddy at the head of the table. Rico with folders and a smug face. 2 other lieutenants, plus Bree and LaToya behind me like guards. Kane stood at my side, tall and silent. Rico slid papers across the wood. Bank statements, wire transfers, my studio account showing deposits that matched dates right after the Scotlandville hit. She been skimming, he said, voice smooth like oil. 10 bands here, 15 there, probably feeding Kane's Houston people on the side. Or worse, talking to them feds. The room got hot. I felt every eye on me. I laughed, cold, controlled. You really this desperate, Rico? After I caught the snake you slept on? I pulled out my phone, hit play on a recording I'd made weeks ago. Rico on the phone with one of Uptown's corner boys, talking about cutting Diamond out the picture because the bitch thinks she king now. Daddy's face didn't change, but his eyes went dead. Explain. Rico started sweating. That's edited. I stepped closer. I don't edit truth. You wanted my spot, my connect, my man. Couldn't stand a woman outshining you. So you manufactured this weak-ass paperwork. I turned to Daddy. He the leak, Daddy. Always was. Jealous heart make niggas stupid. Kane didn't speak. He just stared Rico down like a lion eyeing prey. Daddy stood slow. Both of y'all got stories, but only one got proof that matters. He looked at me. Diamond, you running point on the next package. Rico, you sit this one out. Any more static between y'all, I end it permanent. Rico's jaw clenched so hard I heard teeth grind. He nodded, but the hate in his eyes was a promise. Meeting over. Outside, Kane lit a blunt and passed it to me. You handled that like a boss, but he ain't done. I know. I inhaled deep, letting the smoke burn my lungs. That's why I'm moving first. That night, I sent Bree and LaToya to watch Rico's every move. Then Kane and I drove out to New Orleans for a breather. First time we left Baton Rouge together. We checked into a suite at the Windsor Court, ordered room service, fucked like the world was ending. Slow, deep, eyes locked the whole time. After, lying in tangled sheets with the French quarter lights flickering through the curtains, he traced the curve of my hip. I want out after this next big flip, he said. Take the money, buy land somewhere quiet, have some kids. Real life, Diamond. Not this, I froze. Kids? Quiet life? The words sounded foreign, like a language I used to speak but forgot. You think the game let us walk away clean? We make it let us. He pulled me on top of him. You worth more than crowns and bodies, Queen. I see the little girl in you who just wanted her daddy's approval. Let me give you something better. I cried again. Silent tears, because part of me wanted it. The other part, the cold part that killed Keisha and stared down feds, knew peace wasn't written for girls like me. We got back to Baton Rouge charged up. The next package was massive, 50 keys coming through a new route Kane secured. I ran point, like Daddy ordered. Everything smooth until the handoff on a back road near Zachary. That's when Rico moved. Ambush wasn't loud, It was surgical. Two of his people in a blacked-out Tahoe cut us off. Gunfire erupted. My driver took one to the shoulder. I grabbed the wheel, swerved, returned fire out the window with my .380 while Kane lit them up from the passenger side with the chopper. We escaped, but the truck with half the product flipped and caught fire. I called Daddy from the getaway car, voice steady but rage boiling. "Rico, now." Daddy's voice was ice. "Bring him to the old Magnolia spot, tonight." The abandoned unit in the projects where I grew up. Fitting. We got there at 2 a.m. Rico was already tied to a chair in the living room that still smelled like old weed and broken dreams. Daddy, Kane, Bree, LaToya, and me. No outsiders. Rico looked up, lip busted, eyes defiant. "You gon' kill me over a bitch? After all I did for this family?" Daddy stepped forward. "She my blood. You just hired help who forgot his place." I walked up slow, heels clicking on cracked tile, pulled the same gun I used on Keisha, pressed it to his forehead. "You came for my crown. Now you bow to it." He spit at my feet. "You next, Diamond. Streets already talking, using you. Feds got your name in lights. Your mama know what you are now. A monster." The words hit. For a second, I saw Mama's disappointed eyes, saw Lil Mike under the sheet, saw Keisha begging. I pulled the trigger. One shot. Clean. His body slumped. Blood on my white Chanel. I didn't flinch. Daddy nodded. "Clean this up. Then we move different. Family only." Kane wrapped his arm around me as we walked out. "You okay?" "No," I said honest. "But I'm still here." Back at the studio, I burned the pantsuit in the bathtub. Watched the designer fabric melt like my old life. Kane held me in the shower after, washing blood off my hands, literal and figurative. We made love under the water, desperate, cleansing, like baptism, by fire and Hennessy. But the next morning, the real storm hit. Feds raided 3 of our spots at dawn. Daddy got picked up. Mama called me from the hospital crying. Somebody had told her everything. Rico's people must have flipped before we got him. My phone rang while I was still naked in bed with Kane. Special Agent Ramirez again. "Diamond, your father's in custody. We have enough to put him away for life, but you can walk. Come in. Tell us about Kane and the Houston pipeline. We know you're the new face." I hung up. Looked at Kane sleeping peaceful beside me. His dreads spread on the pillow like a crown of his own. I loved him. I loved Daddy. I loved the game that was killing all of us. I got up, dressed in all black, and stared at myself in the mirror. The girl looking back wasn't the same one who smiled at Kane in the City Park parking lot. This one had blood on her soul and fire in her eyes. I woke Kane up gentle. "They got Daddy. Feds offering me a deal." His eyes sharpened instantly. "What you gon' do, Queen?" I straddled him, kissed him deep, then whispered against his lips. "I'm gon' burn it all down before I let them take what's mine." Starting with whoever snitched on my daddy. The game had raised me. Now I was ready to rewrite the rules, but deep down, in the quiet part, Mama still reached. I wondered if rewriting meant becoming something even colder than winter. Something that couldn't be saved. Chapter 5. Queen in the Cage. The morning Daddy got snatched, Baton Rouge felt smaller, like the whole city was holding its breath, waiting to see if Big Reese's daughter would fold or flame up. I stood in the studio window watching news choppers circle downtown, black SWAT trucks still posted at the Zachary safe house on every channel. Kane was behind me, arms wrapped around my waist, chin on my shoulder. His dreads smelled like the same weed we smoked last night to stay sane. "They got him in federal holding," I said, voice steady, even though my chest felt like it was caving in. "No bail talk yet. Ramirez left a message. Said if I come in today, they might go easy on him." Cooperation. Kane's grip tightened. "You ain't cooperating with shit. We fight this the way we fight everything else." I turned in his arms, looked up at him. This man had become my peace and my poison. Last night, after the raid news dropped, we fucked like soldiers who might not see morning. Rough, hungry, me riding him while tears mixed with sweat. He whispered, "I love you," every time he thrust deep, like the words could shield us. I said it back this time, loud, like a vow and a curse. "I need to see him," I told Kane. "Today." He nodded. "I'll drive." But we move smart. No phones. New ride. 2 hours later, we pulled up to the federal detention center in a rented white Tahoe with tinted windows, me dressed like money trying to look innocent. Cream pantsuit, hair in a sleek bun, minimal jewelry. Kane waited in the car, burner phone ready. Visiting room was cold, plastic chairs bolted down, thick glass between me and the man who taught me everything. Daddy looked smaller in the orange jumpsuit. Gray beard longer, eyes still sharp but tired, in a way I'd never seen. He picked up the phone on his side. "Diamond." His voice came through the receiver rough. "You holding the city? I'm holding everything, Daddy." Rico handled, product rerouted. But they talking life if you don't cooperate. "What they got on you?" He leaned closer to the glass. "Taps. Old bodies. Keisha's disappearance they linking to us. They want the Houston pipeline. They want Kane. And they want you to flip, 'cause they know you the new brain." I swallowed the lump in my throat. "I ain't flipping." "Tell me what to do." "Get the lawyer," the one from Houston Kane mentioned. "Move the rest of the work out the city. And, baby girl." He paused, eyes softening for the first time in years. "If it come down to me or you choose you. I built this so you could survive it, not die in it." Tears burned, but I didn't let them fall. Not here. "I love you, Daddy." "Love you more, Diamond. Now go be cold." Colder than they expect. Walking out that building felt like leaving part of myself behind. Kane was waiting, engine running. One look at my face and he pulled off without questions. Just drove us to a quiet spot by the Mississippi levee. We sat on the hood, wind whipping my bun loose. He said, "Choose me over him," I whispered. Kane lit a blunt, passed it. "That's a father. But I'm your man. We choose each other. We get him out or we build something new. Either way, you not doing this alone." We made love right there in the back of the Tahoe like fugitives. Windows fogged, my moans mixing with the river sounds. Urgent. Claiming. When he came inside me, I held him tight, scared that this feeling was the last real thing I'd ever have. Back in the city, war mode kicked in full. I called an emergency meeting at Mama's house. Neutral ground. Bree, LaToya, two of Daddy's most loyal left, and Kane. Mama was home now, recovering slow, sitting in her recliner with a prayer cloth over her lap. She looked at me like I was a ghost. "Baby, they got your daddy 'cause of this life," she said weak. "You still got time to walk away. Take the deal they offering." I kissed her forehead. "Can't, Mama. Walking away now means we all go down." "I'm fixing it." The meeting was short and bloody in planning. We identified the snitch. Turned out one of Rico's cousins had flipped right before we bodied him. Kane's Houston Connect sent extra shooters. I personally oversaw moving the last 20 keys to a new spot in Atlanta via a church van. Ironic, but smart. Bree and LaToya handled collections, squeezing niggas who thought with Daddy locked they could short us. But the feds weren't playing. 2 days later, they raided my studio. I wasn't there, thank God. But they took computers, cash, even my silk robes. Agent Ramirez called again while I was at Kane's new low-key spot off Florida Boulevard. "Diamond, we know you're running it now. Your father's looking at 40 years minimum. Come in. Help us with Kane and the pipeline. We can talk witness protection for you and your mother." I laughed into the phone. "You don't know me at all. My daddy raised me better than to snitch. Tell him I said, hold on. We coming." She sighed. "You're making a mistake. Girls like you don't win this game. You just die prettier." I hung up and threw the phone against the wall. That night, Kane and I got into our first real fight. He wanted to pull back, Send me to Houston with his sister's people while he handled the heat. I wanted blood. Hit the agent's car, pressure the prosecutor, whatever it took. You acting reckless, he yelled, dread swinging as he paced. This ain't projects no more. This federal. They lock you up. I can't get you out with guns. And you acting like a nigga who ready to run. I shot back, chest heaving. I killed for this. Lost my best friend. Almost lost my mama. I ain't running. He grabbed me by the arms, not hard, but firm. I love you too much to watch them cage you. We got money stacked. Let's go. Start over. For a second I saw it. The quiet life he talked about. Kids with his eyes and my fight. A house not in the hood. But then I saw Daddy behind that glass. Mama's drooping face. The crown I bled for. I can't. I whispered, not yet. We made up the way we always did. Angry sex, turning tender. He bent me over the kitchen counter, fucking the rage out of both of us, then carried me to bed and held me while I cried. Real tears, again. The kind that come when you realize love might not be enough to save you from yourself. The turning point came on a rainy Friday. I went to visit Daddy again. This time, he had new info from inside. The prosecutor was pushing hard because they had a confidential informant who knew too much. Someone close. When I got back to the car, Kane was on the phone arguing in low tones. He hung up quick when I slid in. Who was that? My connect in Houston. Checking on the new route, I nodded, but something felt off. That night, I went through his phone while he showered. First time I ever did that. Found deleted texts from 2 weeks ago. From Rico's cousin, the snitch. Kane. Tell them Diamond running point. Keep my name clean. My heart stopped. Then restarted in pure ice. When he came out the bathroom, towel low on his hips, smiling that same smile that made me weak. I had the point 380 pointed at his chest. Queen? What the fuck? You sold us out, I said, voice dead calm. You fed them crumbs about me to save your own ass. After everything. His face changed. Not fear, regret. It wasn't like that. They had me on old Houston bodies. I gave them small shit about the crew, not you. Never you. I was protecting us. By throwing my daddy to the wolves? Tears fell hot now. I killed for you. Loved you. Let you inside me in every way. He stepped closer, ignoring the gun. Diamond, I love you. For real. This game make niggas do dirty shit to survive, but I was gonna fix it. Get your pops out, then disappear with you. I wanted to believe him. God knows I did. My hand shook. The same hand that killed Keisha. That killed Rico. Mama's words echoed. You a monster now? I lowered the gun. Get out, Diamond. Get the fuck out before I do what I should have done the first time I saw you. He dressed slow, eyes never leaving mine. At the door, he stopped. You, the coldest I ever met. But even winter needs spring, queen. Call me when you ready to live. He left. The door clicked shut like a coffin. I sat on the floor in the dark for hours. Phone buzzing, Bree with updates, feds with more threats, Mama asking me to come home. I didn't answer any. Next morning, I woke up different, harder, clearer. I drove to Mama's, packed a bag, kissed her while she slept, left a note. I'm fixing this. Love you. Pray for me. Then I went full war, met with the Houston lawyer, paid him 50 bands cash to get Daddy a bail hearing, sent Bree and LaToya to pressure the snitch's family. Quiet, legal pressure, plus a few broken windows. I personally drove to New Orleans and met a dirty Fed contact Kane had once mentioned, offered him double what the government paid to flip the case. By the end of the week, Daddy had a bail hearing scheduled. The city was watching. Streets were saying Diamond was running it colder than Big Reese ever did. But lying in the studio alone that night, no Kane, no Daddy, just the silence and the crown. I felt the cracks turning into canyons. I had the power now. But power without love felt like holding ice in bare hands, numbing, then burning, then gone. And somewhere out there, Kane was waiting. The feds were closing in. Mama was praying. Daddy was counting on me. I was the queen. Question was, how long before the throne swallowed me whole? Chapter 6. Ice in the Veins. The bail hearing was set for the following Wednesday in the federal courthouse downtown, the one with the big columns that always reminded me of slave masters watching. I spent the days leading up to it like a general preparing for Armageddon. No sleep, just Red Bull, blunts, and calculations. Bree and LaToya moved like shadows, collecting from every corner boy who owed, rerouting the last of the work through church vans and beauty supply trucks. I paid the Houston lawyer another 25 bands in cash, the kind of money that made his eyes light up but his mouth stay shut. Mama was back in her recliner when I stopped by the crib the night before the hearing. She looked smaller, frailer, the stroke still pulling one side of her face like gravity had claimed part of her. Prayer cloth on her lap, Bible open to Psalms. She didn't yell this time, just looked at me with those tired eyes that had seen too much. Baby, they offering you a way out, she whispered, voice slurred, but clear enough. Witness protection. New name. New life. Take it. For me. Before you lose everything like your daddy, I knelt in front of her, a head in her lap like I was 10 years old again. Her hand stroked my bundles gentle, the way she used to when I had nightmares. For a moment, I let the ice melt. Let the little girl inside breathe. I can't leave y'all, Mama. Daddy built this for us. I'm the one who gotta hold it together, she sighed, a sound full of generations of Black women watching their men and daughters disappear into the system. That boy Kane, he called here, said he still loved you, said he made a mistake, but he can fix it. My body went rigid. I stood up slow. Don't speak his name in this house. But later that night, alone in the studio with the lights off and Boozy playing low, I replayed her words. Kane, the nigga who had me seeing forever for the first time. The one who betrayed me to save his own skin. I hated how much I still wanted him. How my body remembered his hands, his voice calling me queen like it was my government name. I didn't call him, but I didn't block the number either. Court day hit like a Category 5. I dressed like armor. Black St. John pantsuit tailored tight enough to remind everybody I was still a woman, but sharp enough to cut. Red bottoms clicking like gunshots on the marble floors, hair in a sophisticated bun, diamond studs in my ears. Real ones Daddy bought me when I turned 18. Kane was waiting outside the courthouse in a black Range, tinted windows down just enough for me to see his face. Dreads tied back, suit on like he belonged in boardrooms instead of trap houses. Our eyes locked across the steps. Electricity, pain, hunger. I walked past him like he was air. Inside, the courtroom was packed with feds, lawyers, and a few fake supporters planted by the crew. Daddy came in chained, orange jumpsuit crisp, head high like a king in exile. When he saw me, the smallest smile cracked his stone face. I nodded once. I got you. The lawyer did his thing, argued character, community ties, no direct evidence on the newest charges. The prosecutor, a tight-faced white woman with glasses, pushed hard. Flight risk, violent organization, Diamond now running the enterprise. They dropped hints about the bodies, Rico, Keisha, without full proof. The judge, an old black man who probably grew up in projects himself, listened with tired eyes. Bail was set at $2 million, cash or bond. Daddy didn't flinch, I didn't either. We had it stacked in 3 different accounts. But the conditions were brutal. House arrest with ankle monitor, no contact with known associates, me included if they deemed me part of the organization. As they led him out, Daddy mouthed, "Stay cold." Outside, the media was waiting, microphones shoved in my face. "Ms. Santiaga, are you taking over your father's operation?" Any comment on the allegations? I smiled pretty for the cameras, the ghetto princess turned queen, then slid into Bree's Impala without a word. That night, we celebrated quiet at Mama's. Oxtails, red beans, cake. Daddy would be out in 48 hours once the bond cleared. But the win felt hollow, because the feds had named me in open court. My face was everywhere now. Diamond Santiaga, new face of the empire. Kane showed up at 1 a.m. I knew he would. I opened the studio door in a silk robe, .380 in my hand but lowered. "You got some nerve?" I said. He stepped in anyway, closing the door soft. No fear in his eyes, just that deep, knowing look. "I fucked up, Queen. Gave them crumbs to buy time, but I never gave them you. Never gave them the real weight. I was trying to keep us both breathing." I laughed, bitter. "By throwing my daddy in the cage first?" He moved closer. Smelled like creed and regret. "I got a plan to flip the informant. My Houston people got leverage on his baby mama. We make him recant. Your pops walk clean on the new charges. Then we leave, all of us, Mexico, Dubai, wherever." His hand touched my waist. I let it. My body betrayed me first, leaning in, remembering how he felt inside me. We didn't make love that night. We fought with our bodies, angry, possessive. He fucked me against the wall like he was trying to brand himself back into my soul. I scratched his back deep enough to draw blood, riding him on the floor like punishment and prayer at the same time. When we finished, sweaty and breathing hard, he held me tight. "I love you, Diamond. Real shit. Marry me. Let me give you babies and peace." I traced the tattoos on his chest, the ones telling Houston war stories. "Love don't survive this life, Kane. It just makes the fall hurt worse." But I didn't kick him out. We slept tangled, his dreads across my pillow. For a few hours, I let myself dream the dream he painted. Quiet house, kids laughing, no more bodies in the river. The dream shattered at 6 a.m. Bree called frantic. "They raided Mama's house, took her too, said she was harboring evidence or some shit." I was up like lightning, throwing on clothes. Kane drove, both of us silent and deadly. At Mama's, the yellow tape was already up. Neighbors watching from porches like it was reality TV. Mama was in the back of a federal car, looking small and terrified, oxygen tube still in her nose from the stroke recovery. I banged on the window. "Mama, I'm getting you out." Agent Ramirez stepped in front of me, smug. "Diamond Santiaga, we have warrants for you too. Accessory, conspiracy. Your mother's cooperating for her health reasons. Smart woman." Mama shook her head behind the glass, mouthing, "No." But the damage was done. They had her. I felt the ice spread through my whole body, colder than I'd ever been. Kane pulled me back before I did something stupid, like pull the gun on federal agents. We drove off, me staring straight ahead. "Plan B," I said, voice like steel. "We hit every weak link they got. The informant, the prosecutor's office leaks, whatever it takes." Over the next week, I became something else. Not the Project Princess. Not even Big Reese's daughter. I became the storm they all feared. I sent LaToya to Houston with Kane's people to pressure the informant's family. Pictures of his kids delivered with notes that weren't threats. Just facts about how fast kids can disappear. I met with dirty cops who owed Daddy favors. Paid them to leak the feds' evidence list. Bree ran the streets like a general, collecting taxes from every crew that thought they could slide while we were down. Daddy made bail that Friday. House arrest in a new spot we secured. When I visited him, ankle monitor blinking on his leg, he looked at me different. Pride mixed with fear. "You running it now, baby girl. But don't lose yourself doing it." "I already did, Daddy." Kane and I moved like a power couple in wartime. He got the informant to waver. I orchestrated a fake money trail that made the feds chase ghosts. Mama got released on medical grounds after 3 days. Thank God for her stroke records. But the charges against her stayed like a sword over our heads. One night in the new safe house, after another long strategy session, Kane pulled me into the bedroom. Candles lit. Hennessy poured. He got on one knee with a ring. Big-ass diamond. Flawless, like the name they gave me. Marry me, Diamond. Let's beat this case together, then leave the game. I'm ready if you are. I looked at that ring. At him. At the man who betrayed me and still made my heart race. I wanted to say yes. Wanted the babies and the peace. Instead, I said, I'll think about it. Because saying yes meant trusting again. And trust was the one thing the game had burned out of me. The next morning, the real blow came. LaToya called, voice shaking. They found Bree, shot up in the Impala, dead. Feds saying it was uptown retaliation, but the timing. Kane's Houston people were the last ones with her. I dropped the phone, looked across the room at Kane sleeping peaceful, the same man who proposed last night. The ice in my veins turned to lava, then back to ice, colder, harder, unbreakable. I picked up the gun, loaded it, stood over him while he slept. Queen in the cage, but cages get broken. And when they do, the animal that comes out is never the same. This time, I wasn't sure if I'd pull the trigger on him, or on the last piece of my soul that still wanted to love. Chapter 7. The Last Warm Thing. Bree's body was still warm when they found her slumped in the driver's seat of that candy apple Impala. Blood soaked the white leather seats she kept pristine, her bundles matted to the side of her face like she'd tried to duck at the last second. 2 to the head, 1 to the chest. Professional. Uptown didn't do clean like that. Uptown left messages. Bodies on display, cars burned. This was surgical. This had Kane's Houston fingerprints all over it. I stood in the morgue hallway at 3 a.m., staring through the glass at my ride or die laid out like meat on a slab. LaToya was beside me sobbing quiet, snot and tears mixing. I didn't cry. Tears were for girls who still had something soft left. I just felt the last warm thing in me turn to ice. Kane had proposed 24 hours earlier. Now my best friend was dead, and his people were the last ones seen with her. I drove back to the safe house alone. The city blurred past, Magnolia Projects lights flickering like dying stars, bass from somebody's system thumping a funeral beat. When I walked in, Kane was up, pacing in gray sweats, no shirt, dreads loose. He looked relieved when he saw me. Queen, where you been? I heard about Bree. Damn, I'm sorry. We gon' hit uptown back so hard. I pulled the .380 and put it to his forehead before he could finish the lie. My hand didn't shake, not even a little. You killed her, I said, voice flat as graveyard dirt. Or you let your people do it. Either way, her blood on you. His eyes went wide but not scared. That calm killer look he got when shit got real. Diamond? Baby? Put the gun down. I swear on my mama's grave I didn't touch Bree. I was with you when she got hit. Remember? You got Houston shooters on payroll who move without you saying the word? I pressed the barrel harder, leaving a circle on his skin. You the one who told me LaToya said your people were the last with her. You the one always talking about cleaning loose ends. Bree knew too much about your little side deals with the feds. She was asking questions. He moved fast, grabbed my wrist, twisted the gun away, but gentle enough not to break anything. We struggled for 3 seconds, bodies pressed close, breathing hard. Then he had me pinned against the wall, gun on the floor, his forehead against mine. I didn't do it, he whispered, voice cracking for the first time since I met him. But I know who did. One of my old Houston lieutenants, dude named Shadow. He been moving independent since I been down here with you. Thought taking out your crew would make me come back home. I already sent word to handle him. Permanent. I laughed in his face, bitter and cold. You expect me to believe that? After the texts? After you fed the feds crumbs about Daddy? I never lied about loving you. His hands slid down my sides, possessive even now. Everything else was survival. But you, the only real thing I ever had. I headbutted him, hard. Blood trickled from his nose. Then I kissed him, tasting copper and lies. We fucked right there on the floor like animals, angry, grieving, desperate. I rode him with my hands around his throat, squeezing just enough to remind him I could end it. He flipped me, drove into me deep like he was trying to reach the girl I used to be. When we came together, it felt like goodbye and apology at the same time. After, lying naked on the cold tile, he traced the scar on my hip again. Marry me, Diamond. For real this time. We end Shadow. Get your pops off house arrest. Then we ghost. I got land in Belize. No extradition, no game. Just us. I didn't answer. Just got up, showered his scent off me, and left him there bleeding and hard and hoping. Mama's house smelled like prayer oil and hospital food the next morning. She was in her recliner, oxygen tube back in, eyes puffy from crying about Bree. I hadn't told her the Kane suspicion. Some truths break old women who already halfway gone. Baby. Bree was family, she said, voice weak. You can't keep losing people like this. The devil got you running so fast you can't see the cliff. I knelt again, head in her lap. This time, I cried. Real tears that soaked her housecoat. I don't know how to stop, Mama. Every time I try to do right, the game pull me back colder. She stroked my hair. Then leave the game, Diamond. Leave that boy. Save what's left of your soul. God's still got mercy for you if you ask. Daddy called from the house arrest spot on speaker. Ankle monitor beeping in the background like a ticking bomb. Baby girl, I heard about Bree. Handle it quiet, but don't let it break you. You the strongest thing I ever made. Stronger than me, his pride used to warm me. Now it felt like chains. I spent the day becoming the monster they all whispered about. Met with LaToya and the 2 remaining loyal lieutenants in an abandoned beauty supply warehouse. We planned the hit on Shadow, Kane's rogue lieutenant. I insisted on being in the car. No more delegating death. If I was going to wear this crown, I needed to feel the weight every time. That night, we rolled out. 3 cars, dark tint, choppers ready. Kane rode with me even though I didn't fully trust him. Tension thick enough to choke. Shadow was posted at a strip club off I-10, celebrating like he'd done something big. We waited till he came out with 2 girls on his arm, laughing. The shooters moved efficient. I gave the order myself. 3 short bursts. Shadow dropped. One of the girls screamed, but we were ghost before anybody could react. Clean, cold. Another body for the river in my mind. Back at the studio, Kane tried to hold me. I let him for a minute, then pushed him away. You swear on everything you didn't order, Bree? He looked me dead in my eyes. On my sister in prison. On any kids we might have. I didn't. Part of me believed him. The colder part didn't care. Trust was a luxury. Power was survival. 2 days later, the feds dropped another bomb. They added Mama as a co-conspirator permanently. Said her stroke was faked or some bullshit to get sympathy. Daddy's house arrest conditions got stricter. No visitors except lawyers. I couldn't even see him. I went to the courthouse steps alone this time. Agent Ramirez was waiting like she knew I'd come. Diamond, it's over, she said, not unkind. Your mother won't survive prison. Your father's looking at life. Kane's got his own warrant coming. Houston, old murder. Walk away now. Witness protection for you and your moms. New start. I stared at her. Pretty white lady with a badge who thought she understood the hood. You think I want a new start? This is my start. My daddy. My city. My crown, she sighed. Then you'll die with it. Or spend your best years in a cage like every other pretty girl who thought she was different. I walked away, smiling for the cameras again. But inside, I was screaming. That night, I made the hardest decision yet. I called Kane to the studio. Candles lit. Hennessy poured. I wore the red silk robe he loved. When he walked in, I kissed him slow, deep, like the first time. We made love gentle this time. No anger, just sorrow. I rode him slow, looking in his eyes the whole time, memorizing every line of his face. After, while he slept peaceful, I got up, loaded the gun, stood over him. I thought about Bree, about Keisha, about Rico, about Mama's face, about the little girl who used to stick glow stars on the ceiling. I lowered the gun. Instead, I packed a bag, left the ring he gave me on the nightstand with a note. Love ain't enough. I gotta be colder than both of us. Don't follow me. I drove to Mama's at dawn, woke her gentle. I'm sending you and Daddy somewhere safe. Lawyer got paperwork for medical transfer out the state. I'll handle the rest here, she cried, held me tight. Come with us, baby. I can't. Not till it's finished. I left her there praying and drove straight to the new trap we set up in Scotlandville. LaToya was waiting with the remaining crew, 12 loyal ones. I stood in front of them like the queen I'd become. From today, it's me. No Kane, no Big Reese shadow. We take the city back full, uptown, feds, anybody in the way. We flood smarter, we kill quieter, and we get my family out the system or we burn everything trying. They nodded. Some looked scared. Good. Fear keeps people loyal. But as I sat alone later counting money in the back room, hundreds smelling like blood and dreams, I felt it. The last warm thing was gone. No more tears. No more love. Just ice. Kane texted at sunrise. I know what you did. I'm not mad. I'm coming for you, Queen. Whether you want me or not. I smiled, cold. Deleted the message, blocked the number. The game had won. I was the coldest winter this city ever felt. But even the coldest winter ends. And when the thaw came, I wasn't sure anything beautiful would grow in the dirt I'd poisoned. Chapter 8. Crown of Thorns. The first week without Kane felt like withdrawal from the strongest drug ever cooked. My body craved his hands, his voice calling me queen in that Houston drawl, the way he filled spaces I didn't even know were empty. But my mind was razor wire, sharp, unforgiving. I woke up every morning in the new Scotlandville trap. Reinforced doors, cameras on every corner, armed girls I handpicked from the projects, and stared at the ceiling remembering the glow-in-the-dark stars from my childhood bedroom. Those stars were gone, just like the warm parts of me. LaToya brought coffee and the daily count at 7 a.m. sharp. 42 bands yesterday, Diamond. Uptown niggas paying tax without complaint after what we did to Shadow. But word spreading, you went solo. Some saying you wild for cutting Kane off. I sipped the coffee black, no sugar, no cream. Sweetness was weakness now. Let them talk. They bow or they bleed. Simple. She nodded, but her eyes lingered. LaToya had been with me since we were 12, stealing lipstick from Walgreens. Now she looked at me like I was becoming something she didn't recognize. Good. Recognition gets you comfortable. Comfort gets you killed. I spent the days building something colder than Daddy ever ran. New routes through church buses and nail shop shipments. Money funneled through fake beauty supply, LLCs. I set up with a crooked accountant from New Orleans. I recruited more girls. Young, hungry, pretty enough to move under radar, but ruthless enough to pull triggers. Called them my diamonds. Trained them myself. How to shoot. How to seduce info out of niggas. How to never trust a smile. At night, I sat alone counting rubber-banded stacks under a dim lamp. The smell of money and gun oil thick in the air. No music, no blunts. Just silence and the weight of the crown. Mama and Daddy were safe now. Lawyer moved them to a medical facility in Atlanta under fake names. Mama texted once from a burner, praying for you every hour. Come home, baby, the devil winning. I didn't reply. Couldn't. Replying meant admitting I missed her voice more than I missed breathing. Kane was a ghost I couldn't kill. He sent messages through different numbers, different apps. Never begging, always strategic. Unknown. Shadow handled. My people clean. Come back to me, Queen. Belize still waiting. Unknown. Heard you running solo. Proud, but worried. The feds got a new task force named after you. Operation Diamond, they serious. Unknown. I still taste you when I close my eyes. Love, don't die easy. I read everyone, deleted everyone, but I kept the last. Saved in a hidden folder like a scar I needed to feel. The new rival came in week 3. Her name was Raven. Uptown princess turned independent queenpin. Light-skinned, green eyes, body like a video vixen, but brain like a chess grandmaster. Word was she flipped on her own brothers to take their territory, then linked with some dirty Atlanta connects. She started undercutting my prices, spreading rumors that I was the one who got Bree killed to consolidate power. Streets love drama. Some corners started paying her instead. I set the meeting at neutral ground, a closed-down strip club off Florida Boulevard. Dim red lights still working, poles dusty, smell of old weed and desperation. I brought 6 diamonds. She brought 8. We sat across from each other like 2 black widows sizing webs. Raven smiled first, gloss popping. Diamond Santiaga in the flesh. Heard you went cold solo. Daddy locked, mama hiding. Kane ghosted. You the loneliest queen I ever seen. I crossed my legs slow, red bottoms catching the light. Lonely don't mean weak. You undercutting my prices like you got infinite supply. That's disrespectful. She laughed, high and pretty. Business, sis. Supply and demand. Your daddy's name don't scare nobody no more. And word is, you paranoid now. Killing your own. Even your best friend. The gun was in my hand before I decided to pull it. Barrel under the table pointed at her stomach. Say her name again, and watch what happened. Her people tensed. Mine stayed ready. Tension thick enough to spark. Raven leaned in. I didn't kill Bree, but I know who did. Kane's old lieutenant wasn't acting alone. Somebody in your camp fed the location. Maybe even Kane himself trying to force you back weak. My stomach flipped, but my face stayed ice. You got proof? Or you just talking to save your life? She slid a phone across the table. Videos, texts, time-stamped the night Bree died. One of my own diamonds, new recruit named Shay, texting coordinates to an unknown Houston number, payment confirmation right after. I felt the betrayal like a fresh bullet. Shay was 19, pretty, loyal-looking. I'd given her bundles and a gun myself. Raven watched me. We can link. Split the city. You keep Baton Rouge proper, I take Scotlandville and North. Or we keep bleeding each other while feds watch and laugh. I stood up slow. I'll think on it. Outside, I put 2 in Shay's head myself in the back alley. Quick, clean, no speech. LaToya helped wrap her. We dropped the body in the river where the current was strongest. Another ghost to haunt my dreams. That night, I drove past the Magnolia Projects, parked in the same spot where Daddy used to pull up in the Escalade. Sat there remembering being 14, feeling invincible. Now, at 28, I felt ancient. The projects looked smaller, or maybe I had grown too big for them. Kane found me there at 2 a.m. He pulled up in a different range, blacked out, no headlights. Got out slow, hands visible, dreads longer now, fresh-cut beard, eyes carrying the same hunger. You blocked me, but you knew I'd find you, he said, voice low like thunder rolling distant. I didn't pull the gun this time, just stared. Why Bree? Why send Raven with that proof? He sat on the hood beside me, close but not touching. I didn't send Raven. She playing both sides. And Bree. I swear on everything I didn't order it. But my old crew went rogue when I went soft on you. I handled them, all of them, for you. We sat quiet for a long time, city sounds humming around us, sirens, bass, distant arguing. Then he touched my hand. I let him. I still want that life with you, he said. Babies, peace. But I see you now. You in too deep. The game got its claws in your soul. You killing girls you recruited. You don't trust nobody, not even yourself. Tears came. I hated them. What if this all I am now? The coldest, the one they fear. He pulled me into his chest. I went. Smelled creed and home and danger. You more than that. I saw the little girl who wanted her daddy proud. The woman who cried after killing Keisha. She's still in there. Let me help you find her again. We made love in the back of his range right there in the project's parking lot. Slow, tender, like church and sin mixed. He kissed every scar, every new hardness in my body, whispering, "I love you." Like a prayer he refused to stop saying. I came with his name on my lips and tears on my face. For a moment, the ice cracked. Warmth flooded back. But moments die. Next morning, the feds hit the Scotlandville trap hard. SWAT, dogs, helicopters. I wasn't there. Instinct had me at Mama's old house checking a hidden safe. LaToya got caught with 3 keys and 2 guns. 3 of my diamonds arrested. Operation Diamond was live on the news. I watched from a safe distance, heart racing, but mind calculating. Kane called from a burner. They got LaToya. She's solid, but they offering deals. We need to move now. I met him at the studio. We planned extraction. Lawyer, bribes, witness intimidation. But when I looked at him across the table, something shifted again. The warmth from last night was freezing back over. You still got people in Houston who can make LaToya disappear if she flips? I asked, quiet. He stared at me. You serious? You want me to kill your own girl to protect the empire? I didn't blink. The empire is all I got left. He stood up, face twisted in something like pain and respect. This what you choosing? Becoming the monster they said you would be? I love you, Diamond, but I won't help you kill your way to the top of nothing. He left without slamming the door. Quiet exit. The kind that hurts worse. Alone again, I sat with the money, the guns, the crown of thorns digging deeper into my skull. Raven texted an alliance offer. Feds left a message offering one last chance at cooperation. Mama's last text sat unread. Come home before it's too late. I picked up the gun, loaded it fresh, looked in the mirror at the beautiful broken queen staring back. I am the game now, I whispered to her. And the game don't lose. It just changes the players. But deep in the quiet part Mama used to reach, I heard the lie. The game always wins. And it was winning me piece by frozen piece. Outside, the city kept breathing, waiting to see if Diamond Santiaga would thaw or turn everything around her into eternal winter. Chapter 9. Ashes on the Crown. The Scotlandville trap raid played on every local channel like a movie trailer for my downfall. Operation Diamond, Feds Takedown. Alleged Queenpin Network. They showed grainy footage of LaToya in cuffs, looking small and scared, her bundles half undone like she'd been dragged. My face wasn't on the screen yet, but the voiceovers mentioned me by name. Sources say Big Reese's daughter, Diamond Santiaga, has taken over the organization. I watched it from a cheap motel off Airline Highway, curtains drawn, .380 on the nightstand, burner phone burning a hole in my hand. LaToya, my last real link to the old crew. The girl who used to sneak me notes in middle school when teachers thought I was too pretty to be smart. Now she sat in federal holding with 3 keys and enough guns to bury all of us. I knew what they were offering her. Life reduced to 20 if she gave them Diamond on a silver platter. I hadn't slept in 48 hours. My body felt like it belonged to somebody else, hollow, wired, moving on pure ice. I texted Raven from a new number. Me, Alliance, meet tonight, old strip club, come light. She replied in minutes. Raven, smart girl. 11 p.m. No armies. Kane had gone ghost since he walked out on me. No texts, no drive-bys. Part of me missed the war in his eyes. The bigger part was relieved. Love had become a luxury tax I couldn't afford anymore. The strip club smelled worse this time. Old piss, spilled liquor, and fear. Raven sat in the same booth, green eyes glowing under the red lights like a cat that already ate the canary. She had 2 girls with her, I had none. Bold move or stupid. Either way, I was past caring. You look like hell, Diamond, she said, sliding a glass of Hennessy my way. Feds got your last soldier. Streets saying you next. I drank the Henny straight, let it burn the numbness. Streets talk too much. You got product to move quiet? She smiled. I got Atlanta plugs. Pure. We link, flood the whole Gulf Coast. But I want North Baton Rouge and half the tax from your spots. Plus, she leaned in. I want Kane's Houston pipeline. He's still breathing? My stomach tightened. Kane ain't your concern. He's everybody's concern when he got warrants and a soft spot for you. Nigga proposing marriage while his people dropping bodies. That's unstable. We cut him loose, or we all go down. I stared at her for a long minute. Raven was beautiful, the way venomous things are. Pretty enough to make you forget the bite. For a second, I saw myself in her, hungry, calculating, alone on a throne of other people's graves. Temporary alliance, I said. 60-40 my way. You move north. I keep Core City. We handle LaToya situation together. Then we renegotiate. She clinked her glass to mine. Welcome to the big leagues, Queen. We sealed it the way women like us do. Product samples, money transfers through apps, and a quiet understanding that one betrayal and the other dies slow. I left the club feeling heavier. Not empowered, just occupied. Back at the motel, I got the call I'd been dreading. LaToya, from a smuggled phone inside holding Diamond. Her voice was small, cracked. They offering me 15 if I tell them everything. Locations, bodies, you. I ain't said nothing yet, but I got kids, girl. My little boy only 3. I can't do life. Tears tried to come. I killed them quick. You remember Keisha? How she chose wrong? Don't do that, LaToya. I'm getting you out. Lawyer coming tomorrow. Hold on, she cried into the phone. You different now. Cold. I love you, but I'm scared of you too. If you can't get me out, I gotta think about my baby. The line went dead. I sat on the motel bed staring at the gun. LaToya knew where Mama and Daddy were hidden. She knew the new routes. She knew everything. I drove to the old Magnolia Projects at dawn. Parked where Daddy used to park the Escalade, the same bench where I first saw Kane. I sat there watching the sun come up over broken concrete and dreams deferred. My phone buzzed. Unknown. Unknown. LaToya flipped. Meeting with prosecutor at 2 p.m. today. Handle it, or I will. Kane. Still watching. Still claiming to protect me, even after I pushed him away. The ice cracked again. Just a hairline fracture. I hated how good it felt knowing he was still out there. I made the call myself. One of the dirty cops Daddy used to pay. Make sure LaToya don't make that meeting. Heart attack. Natural. Clean. He hesitated. That's your girl, Diamond. She stopped being my girl when she chose the cage over the crown. Done. Another piece of my soul, traded for survival. The news hit the streets by evening. LaToya found unresponsive in her cell. Natural causes, pending investigation. Raven texted congratulations. I threw up in the motel toilet after. That night, I went to Kane. He was staying at a low-key Airbnb off Essen, the same neighborhood as my old studio. I let myself in with the key he never asked for back. He was on the couch in basketball shorts, dreads loose, watching the news report on LaToya. When he saw me, he didn't speak, just opened his arms. I crawled into his lap like a broken child. We didn't fuck. We held each other, his heartbeat steady against my ear. For the first time in weeks, I felt warm. Dangerous warm. I killed her, I whispered. My own sister. You saved us, he said, stroking my back. But at what cost, Queen? Look at you. You disappearing right in front of me. I lifted my head, kissed him slow, tasting salt from tears I didn't know I was crying. We made love on the couch like it was the last night on earth. Gentle at first, then desperate. He moved inside me like he was trying to reach the girl who used to smile in City Park. I held him so tight my nails drew blood. When we finished, I stayed on top of him, forehead to forehead. "Take me to Belize," I said. "Right now. Leave all this." His eyes lit up. Real hope. "Tomorrow. I got the jet lined up. Fake passports. We get your moms and pops first." For 12 beautiful hours, I believed it. We packed light. Called the lawyer to move Mama and Daddy. I even smiled in the mirror while putting on the red silk robe for one last night. Then Raven called at 4 a.m. They raided my north spots. Feds had exact addresses. Only 2 people knew them, you and Kane. Which one of y'all flipped? My blood turned to ice again. Kane was in the shower, singing some old Usher song off-key like a regular nigga dreaming of peace. I hung up on Raven, walked into the bathroom. Kane turned, smiling through the steam, water running down his tattoos. "Queen? You good?" I raised the gun. Water beaded on the metal. Raven's spots got hit. Exact locations. You, the only one I told. His face changed. Not fear, sadness. Deep, bone-deep sadness. "I didn't flip, but I got a Fed contact trying to get the warrants dropped. Maybe he sold us out." "Diamond, put the gun down. We leaving tomorrow. Remember? I wanted to believe him. God, I wanted it so bad, my hands shook. But the crown don't allow want. It only allows win. I lowered the gun. "Get dressed. We moving now. Different spot." We drove in silence to a new hideout in Zachary. No lovemaking, no plans for Belize. Just quiet calculation. Kane fell asleep on the couch. I sat across from him with the gun in my lap, watching his chest rise and fall. At sunrise, Raven sent proof. Screenshots. Kane's old Houston number texting a Fed handler 2 days ago. Coordinates for the north spots. "Cleaning loose ends before I leave with D." The ice sealed shut forever. I woke him gentle, kissed his forehead, then pressed the gun to his temple while he blinked awake. "Diamond, you were always going to leave me holding the bag," I said, voice softer than it should have been. "Belize was the exit plan for you." "Not us." Tears rolled down his face. Real ones. "I love you. Even now. Do what you gotta do, Queen. But know this. The game didn't make you cold. You chose it every single time." I pulled the trigger. One shot. Clean. His dreads spread across the pillow like a fallen crown. Blood on the white sheets. I sat there for an hour, holding his hand while it got cold, crying the last tears I would ever cry in this life. Then I cleaned it up. Called my diamonds. Body to the river, weighted heavy. Raven met me that afternoon. We merged crews under my rule. She bowed. Smart girl. The city felt the shift. Money flowed heavier. Feds slowed down for a minute, confused by the new structure. Mama called from Atlanta, voice weak. "Baby, I had a dream. Kane was in it. You were smiling. Come home." I lied. Soon, Mama. Real soon. That night, I stood on the balcony of the new penthouse trap overlooking the Mississippi. City lights sparkled like diamonds I finally owned. No Kane, no LaToya, no Bree, no Daddy by my side. Just me and the crown of thorns digging so deep it felt like part of my skull now. I was the coldest winter Baton Rouge had ever seen. But winter kills everything it touches. And I was starting to feel the first signs of spring trying to break through the frost. Tiny, painful cracks of regret. Question was, would I let them bloom? Or freeze them forever and rule over a dead kingdom? Chapter 10. Kingdom of One. Kane's blood washed off my hands in the Zachary safe house sink, but it stayed under my nails like permanent polish. I scrubbed until the skin cracked and bled, then stared at the pink water swirling down the drain. The body was already gone. My diamonds handled it quiet, weighted with cinder blocks, and dropped where the Mississippi current runs deepest. No one would find him. Not soon. Not ever. Just like Keisha. Like Rico. Like Bree. Like LaToya. A whole cemetery floating in my veins. I was 28 years old and had buried more people than most funeral homes in the parish. Raven came through the next morning smelling like fresh bundles and new money. She moved different now, respect in her step, but hunger still flickering behind those green eyes. We sat at the marble island in the penthouse trap I'd taken over, stacks of hundreds between us like chess pieces. "City bowing harder," she said, counting rubber bands. "Uptown niggas paying double tax just to stay breathing. Atlanta plug came through with 200 keys. Pure. We gon' eat like royalty this quarter." I nodded, sipping black coffee gone cold. Double the security on every spot. Feds still sniffing. And watch your own people, Raven. Loyalty got an expiration date. I learned that the hard way. She smiled that pretty venom smile. "You the coldest I ever seen, Diamond. Killing Kane yourself? That's some next level shit. Streets already whispering you untouchable." Untouchable. The word should have felt like victory. Instead, it felt like the last door slamming shut. No more warm bodies in my bed. No more arms around me when the nightmares came. Just me, the crown, and the echo of Mama's prayers I kept ignoring. I sent her out to handle collections and drove to Atlanta that same night in a rented white Impala with fake tags. No entourage. Just me, a burner, and the .380 tucked under the seat. Mama and Daddy were in a private medical facility on the outskirts. Nice place, quiet halls, nurses who didn't ask questions for the right price. I slipped in the back way, wearing scrubs I'd boosted from a supply closet. Daddy was in the day room, ankle monitor long removed, but spirit still caged. He looked older, grayer. When he saw me, his face lit up for half a second, then settled into that knowing sadness only fathers who created monsters can wear. "Baby girl." He pulled me into a hug that smelled like Old Spice and regret. "You handling the city? I own the city now, Daddy." I sat across from him, legs crossed, red bottoms tapping slow. Raven linked in. Money flowing triple. But Kane gone. He didn't ask how. Just nodded. Good. That boy was always a risk. You did what queens do. Mama was in her room, hooked to machines that beeped like accusations. Stroke had taken more since I last saw her. One side of her face still drooped, but her eyes, God, her eyes were sharper than ever. She grabbed my hand with surprising strength. "You killed that boy, didn't you?" she whispered. No judgment in her voice, just tired, knowing. "I felt it in my spirit 3 nights ago." "Diamond, what you turning into?" I tried to lie. Couldn't. Not to her. The only thing that survives, Mama. Cold. Unbreakable. She pulled me close, her thin arms around my neck. "Unbreakable things shatter hardest, baby. Come home. Let the feds have the money. Let them have the streets. Save your soul while you still got pieces left." I cried in her lap again, real, ugly sobs that shook my whole body. For Kane, for Bree, for the girl who used to believe pretty and smart could beat the game. When I finally pulled back, her prayer cloth was soaked. "I can't stop now," I said. "Too many bodies behind me. Too much blood on the throne." She touched my face. "Then the throne gon' be your coffin." I left before the nurses came. Sat in the Impala in the parking lot until sunrise, staring at the pink sky like it owed me answers. Kane's last words kept replaying. "You chose it every single time." Back in Baton Rouge, the empire was humming, but cracks were showing. Raven had started moving independent product on the side. Small at first, then bolder. One of my diamonds caught her people shorting counts. I called her to the penthouse. "Explain," I said. Sitting on the leather throne I'd had custom made, legs crossed, gun on the armrest like jewelry. Raven smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Business, sis. You said 60-40. I'm just maximizing my 40. You going soft thinking about your mama?" I stood up slow, walked around her like a shark. "Soft? I killed my man, my best friend. My last soldier. You think I won't add you to the list? For the first time, she looked scared. Good. But she also looked calculating. You need me, Diamond. I got the Atlanta muscle. You move against me, the whole Gulf Coast turns on you. I let her leave breathing. For now. But I planted seeds. Had two of her own girls flipped with bigger cuts. The game inside the game. That night, the feds made their final move. They raided the penthouse at 3 a.m. I wasn't there. Instinct again. But they took 6 diamonds, half the product, and enough paper trail to bury me for life. Operation Diamond splashed across every headline. My face was everywhere now. Mugshot-style photos from old boosts, glamorous club pics, even one of me and Kane from City Park days they dug up. I watched the news from a cheap hotel in New Orleans, heart racing, but mind ice. Special Agent Ramirez held a press conference looking smug. Diamond Santiaga is the new face of organized crime in the South. We urge her to turn herself in. Her mother's health is failing. Her empire is crumbling. Mama! They were using her. I called the Atlanta facility from a burner. Daddy answered, voice tight. They got eyes on us here. Feds saying if you don't come in, they charging your mama with everything. She won't survive it, baby girl. I hung up, sat on the hotel bed, staring at the gun. The crown felt like it was crushing my skull now. Thorns digging into bone. Raven called next. They hit my spots too. This your fault. You too hot. I'm pulling out the alliance unless you turn yourself in and clear my name. Betrayal wrapped in concern. Classic. I laughed cold. You already flipped, didn't you? Feeding them crumbs to save yourself. Silence. Then, survival, Diamond. You taught me that. I ended the call. Packed light. Drove back toward Baton Rouge with the sun rising behind me like Judgment Day. Stopped at the Magnolia Projects one last time. The bench where it all started. I sat there in designer sweats, bundles in a messy ponytail, looking at the same corner store where I first locked eyes with Kane. A little girl walked by, maybe 14, ass already developing, eyes too sharp for her age. She looked at me like I was a legend. I wanted to scream at her to run, go to college, be anything but this. Instead, I just nodded. She nodded back. Another diamond in the making. My phone buzzed. Unknown number, unknown. This, Kane's sister. He told me about you before he went ghost. Said if anything happened, give you this. Thaw, queen. The winter don't have to be forever. He loved you, for real. I dropped the phone. Sobs tore out of me so hard I thought my ribs would crack. Kane. Even dead, he was reaching for the girl I used to be. I drove to the Federal Building downtown, walked in wearing no makeup, no jewelry, just plain black. Agent Ramirez met me in the lobby, shock on her face. Diamond Santiaga. You turning yourself in? I looked her dead in the eyes. No, I'm turning the game in. Full cooperation. Names, roots, bodies, everything. But you let my mama and daddy walk. Witness protection for them. Real one. And you let me disappear after I testify. No cage for me. She studied me for a long minute. Why now? I thought about the little girl in the projects, about Mama's prayer cloth, about Kane's last words, about the cemetery I carried, because the coldest winter finally broke me, I said. And I'm tired of burying people I love, including myself. They took me into custody. Not cuffs at first. Just a quiet room. I gave them everything. Raven, the remaining diamonds, old bodies, new roots. By the time I finished, the sun was setting again. They let me see Mama and Daddy one last time via video before the protection kicked in. Mama cried. Daddy looked proud and broken at the same time. You finally chose right, baby girl. That night in Federal Holding, I lay on the thin mattress staring at the ceiling. No glow stars, no Kane, no crown. For the first time in years, I felt light. Not free, not redeemed, but thawing. painful drops of warmth hitting the ice inside. The game had won most of me, but the last piece, the little girl who came screaming into the world on a humid August night, had finally said enough. Spring was coming, whether I deserved it or not. But in the quiet, I wondered. When the thaw finished, what would be left of Diamond Santiaga? Just a woman? Or another ghost haunting the next ghetto princess who thought she could be forever? Chapter 11. Thaw. They moved me at 4 a.m. in an unmarked van with blacked-out windows. Two marshals who didn't look at me like a queen. Just another broken girl who finally chose survival over the crown. No designer, no bundles swinging, no red bottoms clicking. Just gray sweats. Hair in a plain ponytail. And the weight of 10 years of bodies sitting on my chest. We drove north out of Louisiana while the sky turned that bruised purple it gets, right before the sun tries to fix what humans broke. Witness protection. New name. New face on paper. But the same heart carrying the same graveyard. They put me in a safe house outside Atlanta first. Plain brick ranch in a quiet suburb where black folks mowed lawns and pretended the hood couldn't reach them. Mama and Daddy were already there, moved the week before. When I walked through the door, Mama cried so hard the nurse had to check her pressure. Daddy just stared at me from his recliner, ankle monitor long gone, but invisible chains still rattling. "You did it," he said. Voice gravel from years of Newports and regret. Gave it all up. For us. For what's left of me, I corrected him. I hugged him careful, smelling Old Spice and hospital soap. Then I went to Mama, knelt like I was 10 again, and let her hold my head while she prayed over me in that slurred stroke voice. Lord, thaw my baby. Melt every hard place. Give her back her soul. I cried until my eyes swelled shut. Real tears. The kind that come after you killed the man you loved, buried your sisters, and watched your empire burn on the news. They let me watch the coverage once. Raven in cuffs looking shocked. My old diamonds flipping like dominoes. The city breathing easier like a weight lifted. Some corners threw parties. Others whispered my name like a cautionary tale. Don't be like Diamond. She got cold. Then she got weak. Weak. That word burned worse than any bullet. The marshals gave me 90 days before testimony. 90 days to remember every name, every body, every route. I sat in a bare room with a recorder and a federal agent who looked too young to understand the game, spilling it all. Keisha in the river, Rico in the Magnolia unit, Shay in the alley, LaToya in her cell, Kane. Kane in the Zachary safe house, dreads spread like fallen kings, eyes still open when I left him. Every word I spoke chipped another piece of ice. Some nights, I woke up screaming his name, reaching for a body that wasn't there. Mama would come in slow, stroke my hair, whisper scriptures until I fell back asleep. Daddy stayed quiet mostly, but I caught him watching me with that mix of pride and grief. The same look he gave me the night I first sat at the table like I belonged. One evening, I drove with the marshal to a neutral spot to see the city from afar. Baton Rouge glowed in the distance like a jewel I used to own. I rolled the window down, let the humid air hit my face, smelled fried chicken and weed on the breeze. For a second, I missed it. The power, the fear in niggas' eyes. The way Kane used to say queen like it was scripture. You regret it? The marshal asked. Young black dude who probably grew up middle class. I laughed, soft, every day. But regret don't bring back the dead. It just teaches the living how not to die the same way. Testimony day came too fast. They flew me to New Orleans federal court in a private jet. New identity papers in my lap. Serenity Brooks, 28, former administrative assistant. Sounded like a joke. I wore a plain navy dress, no makeup, hair straight and simple. Looked like any other black girl who could have gone to college instead of the streets. The courtroom was packed. Raven sat at the defense table, looking like she wanted to spit on me. Her lawyers tried to paint me as the mastermind who forced everybody. I took the stand anyway, back straight, voice steady but not cold. I told the truth, the ugly, unfiltered version. How the game raised me, how I chose it back, how I killed people I loved because loyalty became currency and love became liability. When they asked about Kane, the room went dead quiet. He was the only warm thing I had left, I said, tears falling free. And I killed him because I was scared the warmth would make me soft enough to lose everything. Turns out, losing everything saved what was left of me. Raven got life. A few diamonds got 15 to 20. The pipeline dried up. Big Reese's empire officially became history. When they led me out, Raven locked eyes with me across the room. No hate, just understanding. We both played and both lost. Different ways. Back in protection, they gave us a new house in a small town in North Carolina. Trees everywhere, quiet streets, black folks who went to church on Sundays and didn't ask questions. Mama's health stabilized some. She could walk short distances now, pray louder. Daddy started fishing, sitting by the lake like a regular old head. I got a job at a bookstore, stacking shelves, recommending stories about girls who got out. The owner, an older sister named Miss Gloria, looked at me one day and said, "You got old eyes, baby. Whatever you running from, leave it there." I smiled for the first time in months. Real smile. Trying, Miss Gloria. Trying. Nights were the hardest. I'd sit on the back porch wrapped in a blanket, listening to crickets instead of gunshots and bass. Kane visited me in dreams, dreads swinging, smiling, that dangerous smile. Sometimes we made love in the dream. Sometimes he just held me and whispered, "Thaw, Queen." I woke up wet-faced and aching every time. 6 months in, Mama had another small stroke. Not bad enough to kill her, but enough to put her back in the hospital for a week. I sat by her bed, holding her hand, the beeping machines reminding me of the old days. "You happy here, baby?" she asked, voice stronger now. I thought about it. I'm becoming. Not happy yet, but becoming somebody who might deserve happy one day. She squeezed my fingers. That's enough. God don't need perfect. He just need willing. Daddy came in later, sat on the other side. We three held hands like we used to before the money, before the power, before the blood. For the first time since I was 14, I felt like their daughter again. Not their weapon. A year passed, then 2. I changed my name legally to Serenity, cut my bundles, let my natural hair grow into a healthy afro. Started jogging in the mornings, reading everything, Sister Soldier books especially, laughing bitter at how close she got to my truth. I volunteered at a girls' center on weekends, talking to project princesses who thought the game was glamour. I told them the real. Pretty, get you noticed. Smart, get you paid. Cold, get you respected. Until cold is all you are. Then you kill everything good trying to stay on top. Some listened, some didn't. I kept showing up anyway. One spring afternoon, real spring, flowers blooming, air sweet. I was at the lake with Daddy when a tall man with locks walked the path. My heart stopped. Not Kane. Couldn't be. But the build, the walk, the way he carried himself. He nodded at me polite, kept going. I realized then, the game was gone, but the memories would shadow me forever. That night, I wrote in the journal the therapist gave me. I was diamond once, unbreakable, shining no matter the dirt. Now I'm Serenity. Still shining, but the light comes from inside instead of the streets. It hurts more, heals more. I miss Kane every day. Miss the power some days too. But I don't miss the girl who had to kill her own heart to keep the crown. Mama passed peaceful that summer, held my hand at the end, whispered, "You free now, baby. Live." Daddy followed her 6 months later. Heart gave out sitting by the same lake. I buried them side by side under real headstones with their real names. No aliases. They earned that. I stayed in the house, planted a garden, went back to school online for counseling. Wanted to help girls, before they became me. Sometimes late at night, I still feel the ice trying to creep back. Old habits, old calculations. Then I remember Kane's last look, Mama's prayers, the little girl in the Magnolia Projects, who looked at me like a legend. I step outside, feel the warm North Carolina air, and let it thaw me one more day. The game took almost everything, but it didn't take all of me. And that leftover piece? That's the part that's finally learning how to live. Sequel setup. Thaw. The Reckoning. Prologue / Chapter 1. Echoes in the Garden. My name is Serenity Brooks now, but the mirror still calls me Diamond when the lights are low. 5 years after I traded my crown for a quiet life in this North Carolina nowhere town, I still wake up some mornings reaching for a gun that ain't there. Muscle memory from a life I buried deeper than the Mississippi took Kane. The house smells like fresh coffee and lavender now instead of weed and gun oil. I got tomato plants out back heavy with fruit. A little counseling office downtown where I help girls who look too much like 14-year-old me. And a peace that still feels borrowed. But peace is fragile, especially when the past got your number and keeps calling collect. It was a humid August morning. Same month I came screaming into the world in Baton Rouge, when the first crack appeared in my new kingdom. I was in the garden pulling weeds, natural hair tied up in a scarf, sweat making my tank top cling. Miss Gloria from the bookstore had come by with fresh peaches from her tree. We sat on the back porch like regular black women talking about regular shit. Her grandbabies, my online classes, how the price of everything done got ridiculous. Then her phone buzzed. She glanced at it, frowned, and handed it to me without a word. Unknown number. Baton Rouge area code. One text. Unknown. She looked just like you. Pretty, smart, already moving weight at 16. Name's Storm. Your blood. Come get her before the game eat her alive like it did you. R. My stomach dropped like I was back in that Impala dodging bullets. R. Rico's cousin. Or somebody still loyal from the old crew? Didn't matter. The message had a picture attached. A girl who could have been me at 16. Same glowing skin, same sharp eyes, same high ass and dangerous smile. She was posted up on a block I recognized, Magnolia Projects, new Escalade behind her, bundles fresh, looking like the throne was already hers. Diamond's daughter. I never told nobody about that night with Kane right before everything exploded. The night I let him inside me without protection because love made me reckless. 9 months later, while I was testifying and becoming Serenity, a baby girl was born in Houston to a woman Kane had been messing with on the side. Or so the streets said. DNA later proved she was mine too. Somehow the universe let one piece of our twisted love survive the bloodbath. I signed papers giving her to Kane's sister to raise quiet. Thought distance would protect her. I was wrong. Miss Gloria watched me. That your past calling, baby? I deleted the text. Handed the phone back. Past, don't call. It haunts. That night, I couldn't sleep. Sat on the porch again, crickets loud, stars brighter than any city lights I used to own. Mama and Daddy's graves were 20 minutes away. I drove there in the dark, sat between their headstones, and talked to them like they could still fix shit. Mama, you said thaw. But what if the ice got seeds in it? What if Storm is me all over again? Daddy's stone stayed silent, but I heard his voice in my head anyway. You built different, baby girl. But different don't mean invincible. I made a decision before sunrise. I wasn't going back to Baton Rouge as Diamond. But Serenity had skills too. Counseling license, connections in social services, and enough money stashed from the old life, cleaned through the bookstore, to move quiet. I booked a flight under my government name, told the marshals I needed to handle family business. They didn't like it, but after 5 years of good behavior, they gave me a tight leash. Landing in Baton Rouge felt like stepping into a grave. I dug myself. The air hit different, thicker, heavier, full of memories and fried chicken grease. The Magnolia Projects looked the same, but worse. New paint on old pain. I rented a nondescript Honda and drove past my old studio, past the bench where Kane first claimed me, past the river that held too many bodies. Storm was easy to find. She had her own little crew of project girls already, boosting, moving mids, talking slick. I watched her from across the parking lot at the same corner store. Tall for 16, body developed, eyes cutting like mine. She was arguing with some older nigga who thought he could play her. She slapped him so clean, his head snapped back. Crowd laughed. She smiled that same smile I used to wear. My heart clenched. Pride and terror at the same time. I approached when she was alone, posted on her phone. No bundles, no designer, just plain jeans and a tee, looking like somebody's regular auntie. Diamond Santiaga. She looked up sharp, hand dipping toward her waist where a bulge showed. Who the fuck is you? Somebody who know what that crown feel like before it start choking you. I kept my hands visible. I'm your mother. Her face went through everything. Shock, rage, hunger, then ice. Pure ice. The bitch who killed my daddy and left me? Nah, you dead to me. She pulled the gun anyway. Small .22, shaking a little. I didn't flinch, just looked at her the way Mama used to look at me. I did kill him, I said quiet. Because I was scared love would make me weak. Same fear making you point that at me right now. Put it down, Storm. Before you become me, she hesitated. That hesitation saved both of us. A black Tahoe slid through the lot slow. Uptown remnants or new players who heard the legendary daughter was moving weight. Bullets would have flown if she stayed posted. I nodded toward my Honda. Get in. We talk. Or you can shoot me and spend the rest of your life wondering what I came to say. She got in. Gun still in her lap, pointed at me the whole drive to a neutral Waffle House off I-10. Over coffee and scattered all the way hash browns, she told me her truth. Kane's sister raised her until she got sick. Then the streets raised her the rest of the way. She knew who I was, knew the stories, worshipped the legend, and hated the woman who created, then abandoned it. You the coldest, she said, voice full of that deadly admiration I used to love hearing. Killed your own man. Took the whole city, then snitched and disappeared. Why come back now? Because I see me in you, I answered. And I ain't letting the game have you the way it had me. We talked for hours. She let me hug her when she cried about the first body she caught at 15. I told her about Mama's prayers, Daddy's lessons, Kane's last words. I offered her a way out. Come to North Carolina, finish school, work with me at the center. Be more than another diamond. She laughed cold. I'm already Storm. Thunder follow lightning. You can't change weather, Serenity, but she didn't say no. That night, I checked into a hotel and called my old burner, the one I kept for emergencies. One text to an old loyal diamond who never got caught. Me. Storm. Protect her quiet. I'm back for a minute. The response came fast. Old, loyal. Welcome home, Queen. City missed you. I stared at the word. Queen. It still fit like a glove made of thorns. The sequel is just beginning. Storm got rivals already gunning for her spot. Raven got out on appeal somehow and wants revenge. The feds still got files with my real name. And inside me, Diamond is waking up, whispering that maybe Serenity was the real weakness, that a mother's love might be the most dangerous hustle of all. I stood at the hotel window looking over the city lights. Same lights I used to own. My hands weren't shaking, but my heart? My heart was thawing again, cracking wide open, letting in all the pain and possibility I ran from. Winter was back in Baton Rouge. And this time, I wasn't coming to rule it. I was coming to save it from becoming me.
Diamonds in the street, flames in the street,
Diamonds in the street,
flames in the street,
silence in the street.
diamonds in the street.
Late nights, city lights, broken dreams in paradise. Diamond in the streets, never thought I'd be as deep. Money and the power keep on calling me. Every night I'm fighting with my energy, trying to love somebody while I'm losing me. I've been riding through the city with my scars out. Pretty face, but the pain got my heart out. Everybody want a piece when the lights on, but who gon' hold me down when the light gone? Mama told me don't let it control me. Daddy said real love come from me slowly, but the diamonds in the streets got me blinded. Too far gone, don't know where my mind went. And I keep running back to things that hurt me, crying in the mirror at 8:30.
Tell me why the love feel dangerous. Why the fame make everybody change on us?
Diamonds in the street, hope they don't betray me.
Everybody love me when I'm shining lately. Late at night I can't sleep,
Thinking who gon' save me? I'm in love way too deep, hope it don't break me. Diamonds in the street.
hope they don't betray me.
Cold hearts raise me, now I move different cause the pain made me. Mama said don't let the money control me, but these lonely nights still holding on me. New bags, new cars, still empty inside. Smile for the world while I'm dead in my eyes. You say you love me, is it real or convenient? I gave you my soul, now my trust getting weaker. I've been sipping pain like wine in the dark, running from my feelings every time they stack. Told myself I never need nobody, now your voice the only thing that calm me. But love in the streets don't mix too good. One gonna leave you misunderstood, and I know better, still I go back. Heart on fire while my soul pitch black.
Ooh, tell me is it worth it?
All this attention got me feeling nervous.
Ooh, if I lose myself tonight,
would you still hold me when the diamonds lose their light?
hope they don't betray me. Diamonds in the streets, so I praise the light. Hope they don't betray me. Fighting all these demons on a day.